It's lovely to have your company with the global Stampin' Video Hop. You're watching Esther Howard at Stampin Star Creations, and this month's theme is to use die techniques. And I've got a 3-for-1 for you today. 3 different cards using the same die and just showing you 3 different ideas. So I had these leftover strips on my desk from cutting down some cardstock, and I thought I might as well just use them up in video and see where this goes. So I'm just gluing over a sheet of paper or cards, and I'm just laying down my strips next to each other slightly at an angle and just tucking them in next to each other using different colours as I go. So these are the new 2022 in colours, and as you can see, some strips are a bit longer, some are shorter, but we're going to use what we've got. And I'm going to go ahead and use this new SpOtS and DoTs die. I'm sure that's what it's called. I'm going to run it through my embossing machine. And because I'm running through 2 layers of card, it is quite thick. So some of the pieces come out, but the die brush is great at helping me get them out. And if any are still stuck, you can just go through with your pokey tool. Then using, I think this is called greenery, I'm sorry, I should look these things up, this greenery die, which thankfully is carrying over. It's gorgeous because I've just laid my hands on it and want to still play. I'm going to set this piece aside. I've just trimmed off the edges so you can't see any white bits, and we're going to work on project number 2, and then I'm going to get all the projects together towards the end. Using this new Starry Sky card, and I've gone ahead and run that die through again with the SpOtS and DoTs die, and I'm just laying down some adhesive sheet onto some more card so it gets a nice sticky surface. Then putting my top layer over the cardstock, and then I'm going to inlay a few pieces. So the strips that you just saw, those spare strips I had, I've run them through the die cut again, and so I'm just popping these back in. Now you might think this is tedious and not worth it, but it was actually quite therapeutic. I had a program on in the background, and I'm just taking my time filling in the dots, and with this method they'll just fit straight in there because we've got that sticky sheet underneath. And look at this, how fun is that? It's bright, it's zingy, and it's fun. I'm just going to trim this down and have this ready to use a bit later. Okay, so these are the 2 projects we've got so far, and these in here are the leftover pieces from the Starry Sky cutting that we did. I'm getting a piece of Orchid Oasis, I think, is that what it's called? Let me check. I got the name right. And I'm using a new stamp set, and I'm just going to add some stamping to this piece of card here with the Starry Sky ink. So this is the Framed Occasions stamp set, and I'm mixing and matching these 2 inks. So this particular leaf here has got this outline, and I'm going in with a darker shade. Now the first one, look, I got a spot on. The other 2, not so close, but never mind, I'm carrying on. And again, mixing those colours to create a nice sort of meadow look underneath. Doing 2nd generation stamping, so I've got a bit of shading, and you've got those lovely dark and light effects at the bottom. This set is lovely. It's got lots of different elements in it, lots of different leaves and berries and bits where you can just create your own foliage. And it's got these really cool 3 dots in there, and I thought this really emulated the dots that we're going to put in a minute. Now I've seen these faux shaker cards being made before, and I don't think I've ever made one. If I have, maybe it's only one and not enough times, but I think I'll definitely be revisiting this again soon. So it's really easy to make. You just want to grab yourself a cellophane that you'd normally put your card in, and I'm tucking it right into the corner just to make sure it's nice and snug in there. And then once you've got it in the cellophane, you can go ahead and shake in your excess pieces that you would have maybe thrown in the bin otherwise, but it's great to use for shaker cards. So just making sure all the bits are tucked in there. Take off the backing and just fold over the flap all together. Obviously your card is a bit bigger than the cellophane is, but not to worry, I'm just going to use a bit of tear and tape along the other side to make sure this is nice and strong, and just tuck that over and glue it down. And there you go. Oh, I love this. I kept shaking it. It's quite addictive. It's really fun how it's turned out, and it's a great way to use those little die cut pieces that have come out from the shape. So, okay, enough shaking now, Esther, let's get on. So again, just using my tear and tape, I want a nice strong tape that would stick the plastic to the card. So just keeping it really simple and mounting it on a piece of basic white cardstock. And there we have it. I'm back shaking my card. Okay, but this next one, again, I just wanted to keep it simple on a lovely white background. So sticking it on a piece of basic white cardstock and bringing in Biggest Wish for a nice bold sentiment. Now, when I was making these and making them up, I wasn't quite sure how I was going to complete these cards. So anyway, I'll talk to you about that in a bit. So coming in with Parakeet Party, which is another one of these lovely, fun, bright in colours, and then coming in with the Happy in the Starry Sky to match the card. So you've got this double layer of the Happy and the Birthday. Now, I wasn't sure if I liked that one, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp it separately to see which one I like the most for this card. Just fussy cutting out the word Happy, so I've got the words separately, and I much prefer that on this card. Don't know, just think it looks better compared to that one. So I'm going to go ahead with the separate words. Before I do that, I'm just going to grab in this ribbon here, and because it's quite thick, I'm cutting it in half to use on my card. This is the frayed ribbon from the mini catalogue, and then I'm just adding a knot in it as well. So I've applied some tear and tape, and yes, I have covered up the spots that I've inlaid, and yes, I will still cover up some more when I come to put my sentiment on. But like I said, I wasn't sure how this card was going to be completed and what area was going to be covered up or not. So you might as well just, you know, finish it and just fill them all with dots and don't worry about the ones that get covered. So I've popped these up on dimensionals, and again, just keeping it really simple because I love the bright boldness of the dots that speak for themselves. So card number 2 made. Let's have a look at this, revisit this one. So again, I wanted the simple contrast on the white, keep it clean and simple. And I can use this. It won't go to waste. I thought, great, I can just use the sentiment from before. So I'm just going to lay on some tear and tape, and I'm wrapping it around the corner here, and then just adding an extra bit on the other side so I can put my ribbon on. Just lining up with the tear and tape on the other side, and similar sort of thing. I'm just using that half cut frayed ribbon. It does fray, but you just lose a few of the fibres, and it kind of adds a really nice fun texture to it as well. So adding the glue and just gluing down the top and bottom because I didn't want to crease it too much where the ribbon was. And then I painstakingly cut up some of the foam adhesive that we've got. Yes, we do sell foam strips, but they tend to be thicker. They're actually 3mm, so it's quite sticks up quite high. So I just cut down the foam, what do you call it? The foam adhesive pads that we have, and use those instead. Now, I got a bit distracted because it got a bit mesmerising. I was like, whoa, look at that, it's so cool. Look at the reflection. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, go back and have a look at the reflection that the light was making through the card, and it was making all these fun rings and psychedelic shapes. Anyway, a little bit distracted there. So here are the 3 cards. Here's the first one with the Stripy technique and double die cutting, and then this one with the inlay of the spots and dots, and this one using the negatives for a faux, well, I call it a faux shaker. I suppose it is a faux shaker card. So let me know in the comments below which one is your favourite. Do you like 1, 2 or 3? Or just explain. And don't forget to check out the other fantastic demonstrators in the link below. Have a great day.